Well, hello there. I'm back. My name is Dave Vila. I want to welcome you today to this new edition of News and Views broadcast by Access LaPorte County on Public Access TV Channel 99. We are a weekly public opinion program addressing local, state, and national topics and issues of interest to the Michigan City and surrounding areas. Opinions are the views and the responsibilities of those making the comments and do not necessarily reflect the views of this program or its comments of its co-producers. We will adhere to broadcast rules, but absolutely no one's First Amendment rights of freedom of speech or freedom of the press will be either muzzled nor denied. Any unauthorized use, accounts, descriptions, and events of this program without the express written consent of Larry, Curly, and Schmo is strictly prohibited. We hope you enjoy the program, the discussion, and the participants. Ladies and gentlemen, I've been gone since basically when I walked into the emergency room at St. Anthony Hospital on the 5th of January. I think they discovered what was going wrong with me. The VA, because I'm under VA care, the VA recommended that I go to the emergency room, and lo and behold, in my opinion, discovered what is wrong. They did blood tests, they did everything, they did this, they did that. They determined that my kidneys weren't functioning properly. Well, the bottom line is my 4-hour operation that I had with through St. Anthony Hospital, through Franciscan Clinic, that was St. Franciscan Clinic charged $77,000 for my outpatient.
But you're fixed.
No, I'm fixed. I'll tell you what. Thank you, taxpayers. Thank you, military. And for the young people that are out there that are considering, that don't know what the heck to do, join the military, kids. Because when you grow up and when you need necessary government insurance, and if you are eligible to go under this VA program for insurance, everything is paid for. I had no expense whatsoever, maybe for a couple aspirin and stuff like that, but the military took care of everything. So all of you guys and gals out there pursuing a military career, consider the military not the benefits that you're going to reap today, but future endeavors that may be necessary.
Education is also part of it.
Education, another facet. Kids, the military isn't really bad. It's going to teach you a few things, and that's how to grow up. Bob?
Well, I'm going to start it off with a rather mundane situation. For those of you that are not aware of it, and it always came as a surprise to me, as it did again, but it's time to turn the clocks ahead. So we tape on Friday. So on Saturday night, March the 7th, or if you're one of those that does it just as the law says to do it, at 2 a.m. on Sunday, March 8th, you turn your clock ahead 1 hour, or as the saying goes, spring ahead, and it's spring ahead 1 hour. So if this is a good reminder, we hope you'll remember to do that. And keep yourself in tune with the rest of our society. So I'm going to yield back, now that I got to mention that one, to some of my friends over here who have things they'd like to discuss. But I want to come back at some point because I'd like to talk a little bit about one of probably the most significant things that has taken place in my lifetime since the end of the war in Vietnam. Go ahead, guys.
It's the day he did his homework. You've been on.
I don't know where I've got so much to start. No. First of all, I got to credit these two guys for holding down the fort, because the topics that they discussed were for the future of Michigan City, and I applaud them for their efforts. You know, I've been touting that scenario for years, and the city tends to not listen to me. I've got documentation to prove that the last 4 years, the city of Michigan City received $4.5 million for economic development.
4.5 or 450?
$450 million. $450 million. The city of LaPorte received $500 million. The city of LaPorte, prior to its acquisition for this new plant,
Data center, Microsoft.
Data center, that money that the city got, believe it or not, can be found on the Gateway page. If you go to Gateway for 2024, they claim that money. I could not find any of the $450 million that the city of Michigan City got on anything on Gateway, because they didn't put any of their figures on the Gateway page.
But LaPorte did.
LaPorte did, claiming one thing. Now, and you look at the results. The results is what $1.5 billion plant that the city of LaPorte is getting?
30 million a year.
Yeah, 30. And what are we getting here in Michigan City? Car washes, chicken places, and deteriorating streets and everything else. Where did all that money go? City of Michigan City.
Redevelopment, how much did they get? How much did they bring in the past?
Oh, about $32 million, that's all. I mean, there is if somebody would only look at the books of the city of Michigan City and determine where all of this money is going. According to the mayor, it's coming in. According to the mayor, we've got, first of all, this money is to support economic development, focus on infrastructure, brownfield redevelopment, housing, major highlights including over $450 million total investment in public and private investment here in the city of Michigan City. Again, the city of LaPorte got...
We got a data center. Not a big one. Well,
and that was only $800,000. That data center is only, right now, it's $800,000.
we're not getting 30 million, but we're getting $1 million.
I'm just comparing what the mayor of the city of LaPorte is doing with 4 years worth of federal revenue versus what the city of Michigan City is doing with the same 4 years. There's a vast discrepancy, and when you go to Gateway and you look at the page, you'll see the city of LaPorte declared its revenue. Michigan City has made no declaration at all as far as the money coming into the community. Somebody is not carrying their weight in this town.
Well, Joliet, Illinois was the discussion Thursday that they were looking at a 575-acre data center. And there was a lot of remonstrance in it. I saw the news clip, but the Plan Commission voted yes. Because if we take the city of LaPorte, I don't remember how big that is, 100 acres? It's pretty big, and a Microsoft one. And you compare that to what Joliet, Illinois just is going to approve, 500 acres. I mean, now you're talking $100 million a year. And do you go to commercial investments or whatever, manufacturing, or do we go, which we are, Michigan City is going to, we're talking about housing, hotels. I don't know. I mean, I think the return's far greater, which we do have a data center.
Well, going back, the Michigan City Redevelopment Commission appropriated $2 million to somebody in Crown Point to approve 31 acres of vacant land south on Cleveland and 400. That $2 million is on second reading at the City Council. The City Council is the deciding factor of whether this guy gets his $200 million. $2 million to develop his property. We have 137 vacant lots in the north end of Michigan City. We have deteriorated businesses that a facade program could be enhanced in the north end of Michigan City. If you go Highway 12, north of Highway 12 to the Franklin Street Bridge, you will see a deteriorated street. That somebody could go in there and maybe grind out the asphalt while the bridge is closed so that we would have a good clean thoroughfare going into Washington Park. There are other places to utilize that $2 million, and to the prowess of people in the planning department, they decided to give that $2 million on 3 payments to this developer in Crown Point to develop vacant land. This is a picture of the vacant land speculation. There's no guarantees that anything is going to be developed on this vacant land, but if you clean a city street, there's guarantees that everybody who utilizes Washington Park could get to the park over the bridge.
It's a question of tax revenue, and that, like you said, there's no guarantee. That's the kind of development we want, but there's no guarantee.
There's no guarantee.
Center are giving us tens of hundreds of millions of dollars. We have a facility, and I remember 3 administrations ago, they talked about we don't have tall enough buildings. And so they built that thing over there in Cleveland, and I don't think that's full yet, but now we're going to build more. And the people that were just south of 400, we see that land for sale on the west side of Cleveland, south of 400, they were going to build something there, but I can tell you that company, I believe it's from South Bend, stopped their development and put it back up for sale because they ran into an IDEM problem and a wetland issue, so they just walked away.
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying that the Michigan City Redevelopment Commission, with their pie-in-the-sky ideas, should request from these developers a performance bond as to what they're going to accomplish with the project if they get tax revenues. They have never asked for a performance bond for these people. What are you going to do? Well, we don't know what we're going to build here. We don't know this. We don't know that.
Well,
But we'll give you $2 million.
They shouldn't ask for performance bond. They should make sure they build it with
Some
the $2 million,
assurances.
and then if they don't develop it in 5 years, the land goes to the city. We take it. We get it.
And get our
We can
money
sell it.
and get our money back.
And get our money back. And we
That's
can
right.
sell it, and they
Yeah.
lose the land.
But see, but no, you've got all of these pie in the sky ideas going back to Clarence Holtz in one of his last reports. He took credit on one of his reports for economic development. He took credit for that $300 million that SOLA was going to bring into Michigan City on his documentation that he presented to the public. He took credit.
What place?
$300 million for
SOLA?
this SOLA.
That exists?
That
That's done.
project is deader than whale excrement in the ocean.
done.
It's done, but he took credit for it.
Whoa, that's the J.W. Marriott project, so don't say it's dead.
It's done.
Because it's not dead.
He identified
This is March.
in the
I think
language
it's
that he put in his
The solar
presentation.
project is going to J.W. Marriott.
I think they're both gone.
Well,
They're
the
done.
townhouses are the ones that's
I
gone.
think they're all gone. Haven't heard a peep. This is March.
I'm just saying,
Well,
money
the
is
last I
coming.
heard, they were going ahead with the hotel project, not the condo project.
They've been on the solar project for 5 years and accomplished absolutely nothing other than the expenditures of funds after funds after funds with no results. It's about time to somebody put their foot down and tell somebody to excrement or get off the pot.
I say it's done because I just looked at Beacon, and that parcel, the Michigan
It's
City,
done.
the Michigan City Police Department and the News Dispatch is still under two different owners with an alleyway running through it,
That's correct.
and it's still under the redevelopment somehow LLC. So I haven't heard anyone say anything about it for 3 months.
Well, we'll see.
I don't know.
But
We'll see.
It's my understanding.
I mine too. That Marriott
Yeah.
would go, but I think
Yeah.
I think they're done.
When I sat home and I watched these guys perform, they did a wonderful job. But I tell you, I felt like jumping through the TV screen and contributing to add to what they were saying.
What you're saying is LaPorte makes things happen.
That's right. Michigan City is
And-
sitting around.
And if they don't build something, LaPorte moves on, or they get their money, they get their land.
They accomplished something with a little more money than the city of Michigan City did. And as I said, with TIF funds, what did the TIF funds, what benefit did the city of Michigan City with the TIF funds when TIF revenue was to go build streets, build alleys, build sidewalks, improve the infrastructure of the area that had a cessation of growth. And when you look at the North End and with the 137 properties that are still vacant in the North End, oh no, they're not vacant. When the geese start flying south, they've got a place to graze.
So LaPorte did the Microsoft data, and I understand they made a TIF district. And in that TIF district, they gave the city of LaPorte schools a hefty sum of
Yeah.
money that
Which-
Michigan City doesn't do.
Michigan City,
They
I brought this.
intended they would do in the future.
Right.
Again, I brought this issue, Michigan City area schools, and it was entitled in 2018 to 15% of the revenue derived from the TIF district. And Mr. York decided to kick the can down. Well, we'll discuss that maybe 2 or 3 years down the road. I mean, it just seems nobody reads the laws and reads legislation that's adopted here in this town. Why not?
Well, the data center that Michigan City got could have been in a TIF, and I don't know if it is, and they could have captured that money, and they could have given a portion of that money to the school district, but I don't think they did that either.
No. Who's running the show?
And that's the point. City of LaPorte has Mayor Tom Dermody. And if you've done any development in the city of LaPorte, that boy don't sit around. He don't let nothing get in his way. He makes it happen. I do developments in the city of LaPorte and other municipalities, and there ain't nothing like the city of LaPorte. As mayor, he makes sure they get out of their way and get it done.
High school colors of the city of LaPorte are orange and
Oh, yeah,
black.
orange.
Okay? Does that give you any indication of where I'm thinking or how I'm thinking? There's a little bit of almost orange, and there's
goes
black
back-
over
That
there.
goes back to his high school days
Slices.
when LaPorte couldn't even get out of the sectional. Who are you kidding?
You know what? I was gonna bring today from 1966 basketball, a little bitty cowbell that my wife was in school at the time and she was able to save. All of the cheerleading crew had little bitty cowbells that they rang at the basketball games. I was going to bring that, and every time that I heard something critical said, I was going to, maybe next week I'll bring that bell.
21 sectionals.
We need more cowbell.
Time out. 21 sectionals in a row.
I don't dispute
Second
that.
largest in state history, only behind Lafayette
I
Jefferson.
do not dispute that, but there should be a carryover of progress from one extreme to the next extreme to something valuable that can be accomplished through common sense. And that common sense, in my mind, doesn't apply here in this town.
Well, let me start now with my thought process, because it's going to be significantly different. Right now, when I look back and look at what the city was 50 years ago, we are significantly ahead of that. Now, maybe we could have done better, but we have done much better than we were for about 20 years. What happened to us was a total loss of various industrial companies, which we have not yet been able to replace. What we have been able to do is bring in factors of a recreation industry. It has to do with boating. It has to do with fishing. It has to do with, this is just a nice place to come and have a vacation. And no, wait a minute.
And I
let me
agree.
finish.
I agree.
Now, let me finish. What we have to do in moving forward is something that LaPorte was able to do quite a few years ago when they set up the Thomas Rose Industrial Park. It's a very nice, well-developed industrial park for the manufacturing types of businesses.
And what do they get in there? Oh, another data center.
Yeah, well, where we have to go, I've said this before, is to the west side. And what we now need to start looking at is, can we get enough grants and can we bond ourselves enough that the sanitation department will be able to bring sewers and water to that west side?
You ready?
Yeah, wait.
I got to read this. Over the past 4 years, from 2021 to 2025, the city of Michigan City, Indiana has secured tens of millions of federal state funding to support economic development, infrastructure, brownfield redevelopment, housing, and major highlights scheduled for over $450 million of total investment. They are getting the money. What are they doing with the money?
Well, you got to ask the sanitation department that. But what we have to do is set up a very significant industrial park on the west side of Michigan City, going all the way to the Porter County line. Now, I don't know how much of that land is in Michigan City, but the next thing that needs to be looked at is how much of that land is actually in Michigan City, how much of it is in LaPorte County, and we need to stop it at the Porter County line.
We need to use the land that's already industrial at Ohio and 20 and
Part of it is,
400.
well, that's what I'm talking about.
Use that. That's already ready. We just sit in there.
But you got to get the rest of it.
And you bring up Thomas Rose. Thomas Rose started, I don't remember when, 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
It's not in the best location, folks. It's Seavers Road. You have to muddle your way through town to get out to Lincoln Way. But anyways, it sat there, and then it springboarded when just before Tom Dermody got in, and when Tom got in, it just went ballistic. And Thomas Rose is not the big crowning glory in LaPorte. It's the old plant that was Alice Chalmers, Newport Landing. That if you look at that place under Tom Dermody, I tell you, people get out of the way, he has probably got that 40, maybe 50% filled that everyone else talked about. Tom did it. He pushed everything out of the way. He made sure people were digging the dirt and pouring the concrete. That's all he focuses on. All the rest of this nonsense, administrative, change of use, BS that every community does gets in the way. And in fact, the state, the Home Builders Association went down the state and they passed a bill. They said that 40% of the cost to build a new home is in administration. They said it could be up to 60% for commercial properties in administration, just to get to the point where you're allowed to dig some dirt and pour some concrete. It's out of control. And Tom, he doesn't change the rules.
He finds ways to
He
circumvent.
makes sure they get them done. He makes sure they do the rules, but he doesn't put constant roadblocks in front of them before they can ever put a shovel down.
But the Newport Landing is the name of that mall.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a commercial situation. The salary levels in there are comparable to the clerks that we got in our various malls out there. This is not a.
Some of them, they have a dentist's office, they have an emergency, they have
We
nurses.
have that too.
No, but in Newport Landing.
We got, well, okay, but.
They put some, you know, I know there's a bank, there's a dentist office, there's
It's
a workout place, there's
It's a commercial,
clinic,
it's a commercial
but
situation.
it's not all fast food.
But what I'm talking about is they pay commercial salaries to the hourly.
I think they pay more than that. in there.
What we really need, and we really need to bring in industry,
Oh, yeah.
that will raise our.
Then why are we spending $2 million for
Time
this?
out.
Well, you've got vacant properties on
Well, that
South.
works.
You got
If they build it.
You
we
got
don't want-
you got vacant properties on 421 South that steakhouses that are closed, the Kentucky Fried Chicken that are closed. You got
Red
strip
Lobster's
malls.
going to be a car wash.
Yeah, you got strip malls that are not occupied.
But that
you
works.
got.
That works if they build it. We don't want to spend $2 million.
Let
In
them do
20
it.
years, they
Let
don't
them do
build
it themselves. If it's a valuable project, and if they've got the resources, build it. But don't rely on the TIF tax revenue from the city of Michigan City to develop a vacant piece of land in the city of Michigan City when we got streets to be filled and patched and other economic development projects that could be done on the north end of town that's been avoided for years.
I have no problem with building commercial projects. We can go ahead and do this. That's
Yeah,
good.
if he's got the
Time
money,
out.
let him go.
Let me finish. I want salary levels that are $22 to $30 per hour. That you only get that when you got industry.
That's what that's going to be.
Well, that's the data center.
No, that's
this
not the
is
data center. This
behind
is 31 acres.
The theater where he's going to put little places that are little manufacturing.
What's the straight time hourly wage?
Those are
On
probably
vacant land right now, it's nothing.
Time out.
No, but
What's
that's
your
probably
straight time hourly wage in all of those commercial situations?
Nobody
in the
knows
port?
because they don't know
Nobody
who's going
knows.
to be
Check it.
because they're not going to be moved. They don't even know who's going to move
They're
in yet.
intending those to be like union jobs, like manufacturing.
speculation.
I'm telling you, if you want a decent salary, you have to have industrial facilities.
Yeah, that's what those are supposed to be.
Well, let's take a look at the west side of Michigan City and what can we do to get water and sewer into those facilities.
I've been trying for years.
I'm willing to start with US 20 and where the old Jmar Ruby
Oh, yeah.
plant is,
Oh, yeah.
where the old Boone paper box,
Oh,
but
yeah.
you got to move that west.
But it cannot be done, Bob, when you've got the sanitary district looking the other way in regards to economic development and cleaning out ditches on the west side. They are preventing economic development from happening.
We're going to spend $500,000 a year to clean out
Hey,
ditches.
give me a backhoe and a garden hose, and I'll clean out those ditches
luck.
myself.
Yeah, good luck. Somebody getting drowned in there. We are going to spend $50,000 to $100,000, and just let me finish. $100,000 a year for the next 5 to 10 years. Let's get the grants and build storm sewers in there that will handle it. $50,000 to $100,000 a year. You're never going to get a grant.
Over the last
If we
4
get the
years, we
sewer
got
system-
$450 million of grants coming into town. And the sanitary district continues to ignore their responsibility. They get money from the county to clean out ditches. They ain't doing a damn thing.
Looks to me like we got a pretty good sanitary
So you make a
district.
good point. So Michigan, the city of LaPorte has that whole area north of 20, out north of Walmart, out east side of town, and Thomas Rose.
Yeah.
And that's all in the same watershed. And in the city of LaPorte, they took a proactive step in developing storm sewers all the way from that whole area, from Seavers south, past Boyd Boulevard, and they have a community, or they have a regional detention pond that they already have that catches the water. So these developments, including the people that are already there, companies that have been there 50, 75 years, they don't have to build stormwater ponds. They are allowed to build and pack them in and put development and manufacturing in, and it goes in this regional detention pond. Michigan City, on the other hand, if we're going to develop the old Jmar area and that whole area, I think their attitude is, you guys got to go build retention ponds instead of using things like Streevel Pond, which is a $20 million
Boondoggle.
retention pond. Instead of building a regional facility even further south at the ditch down there at the Kinsel Ditch, so they don't have to, when they redevelop that, they don't have to dig ponds. They can allow that water to go and sit in this regional pond. We want them to pack those areas full of manufacturing facilities with ability to make high wages, retirement plans, healthcare.
Yes.
We don't want to sit, and LaPorte City does this very well. We don't want them to be bogged down into building stormwater retention ponds, which is less ground they could build a factory on, which means less
I
workers.
don't want to build stormwater retention ponds. I want to build sanitary and storm sewer systems.
Yes.
Yes.
But you have to require, those are old school developments that have hard surface on them. And LaPorte and Michigan City and everyone else does. If you build a new facility on, you have to start storing your stormwater instead of just letting it go down. But the city can proactively create regional detention areas that lets them utilize their ground, every inch of it, for buildings and workers and manufacturing instead of storm sewer ponds. And they can enhance the sanitary sewers, and they can finish off the storm sewers, which they did on Ohio, those big culverts by the old cookie factory.
That's on the south side of 20.
On the south side of 20.
North side of 20
that all
doesn't
runs.
exist. Yeah, north side doesn't exist of 20.
I'm fine for going to the south side of 20.
But the problem that I pointed out for years is the problem in the ditches north of Earl Road that doesn't allow the water to continue to flow down the 67 feet down to the level of Lake Michigan.
I hate to say this to you, but sometimes when you're doing economic development, you have to bypass certain areas. South of 20 is the area where we should be looking at.
If you apply my logic, it will dewater the south side of 20 and make that property even more valuable because the high water table will recede to a point where you can.
If you dig a regional pond out there north of the tracks, going towards County Line Road, if you dig a big, and I've said this before, and I'm not just talking, people think a regional pond is just a big open area like Streetville Pond. No, you can make a regional stormwater development pond if you connect it to Lake Michigan as boat docks.
Yeah.
And that would pull the water out of everything from south of 20. It will extract that water into this pond, and it will let you use more land all the way from the Market Mall south to 94. But we don't have that vision. The city of LaPorte did it on the east side. You can go there. You can't see it, but if you drive down Boyd south of 20, south of 2, and you look to the left, there's a little opening. They have a big regional stormwater detention facility to let everyone north of 2, and that includes Thomas Rose, and that includes probably a new data center, not spend their time digging these huge stormwater facilities instead of building buildings that have workers in them.
All I'm saying is, back to the basics. We
yeah.
need to enhance the area that's the old J. Ruby area,
Yeah.
Boone Paper Box,
Oh, yeah.
and all of those, and we need to enhance it such that we will be able to attract industrial facilities. Now let me finish. Just like we got the data center, because it was already zoned heavy industrial. It could move right in. Those are the kinds of industries that we need to start to attract, because they're going to be high technology. They're not going to have environmental problems in this day and age that we had to put up with for a lot of years, although my father and his friends would have said, we're working after the Depression was over. But in fact, I worked in 2 of those foundries. But that's how I got through college. But until we do that, we're always going to be behind in terms of salaries, because the commercial areas here can get by with paying a lot less salary level than they would have to pay if people were in industrial areas making $20 to $30 an hour.
Oh yeah, I mean that's something we have to work at. When you talk about the recreation and hotels,
That's what I want to work
and
at.
restaurants, those and the beach, those are a given. Those are freebies to Michigan City because we have the lake and the beach and the wonderful downtown. The other stuff you have to work at, and that takes effort that you see the city of LaPorte working at. They have their downtown, and that's a freebie to them. They have the courthouse. That's a freebie to them.
Okay.
Now, you want to keep them running, and you want them to grow, but that's not where your effort is the work at the manufacturing and technology.
One of the things you're going to have to look at now, you guys probably will like this one, is in our development commissions, redevelopment commission, economic development commission, do we have the people that are capable of understanding how industrial systems work in this day and age? Because the first thing we have to do is have people that can go in there and talk to them. If we don't have, then we're going to have to go through the state, which does have, and hope the state can do the salesmanship for us. But you need to start thinking about how do we get people into our redevelopment commission, our economic development commission, that understand the concepts that are going into today's technology and
That's
the
a
way
good
they're
point.
going to build their industrial
LaPorte
villages.
City's got Burt Cook and Tom Derman.
Yeah.
And they can talk
Yeah, okay.
business.
Let me, I just want to read this thing to you, ladies and gentlemen. This is from IDEM. Good morning, Dave. I'm sorry that this issue has been keeping you up, but unfortunately, this is not an issue for IDEM that they can address. It will need to be addressed through Michigan City Sanitary District, or if you can't get anything done through them, through the town council or the mayor's office. The Michigan City Sanitary District created Scrabble Pond in this 20-acre area south of Earl Road, and they have stopped.
Is it like $20 million?
But north
Right.
of 20.
North of 20, south of Earl, they have stopped. The problem is that north of Earl Road, the ditches prevent this water flow from south of Earl Road to continue to go down to Lake Michigan to dewater the area. IDM identifies that. They know it. But it's not them, it's the Michigan's, according to this, it's the Michigan City Sanitary District's responsibility, and they have failed to do that since 2003, when the initial 20-acre area of Scrabble Pond was created.
That area south of the tracks is lower than Scrabble Pond.
Correct.
So if you look at hydrology, if you have soil up here that is wet, and you have soil and you have a low area, you'd want to drag that down here and fill and open that area. You don't want to open up a pond here and let the water still stay in the soil that's in the adjacent areas. You want, as Scrabble Pond does, you want that water to be down here low to extract it. It'll pass release resistance through, even through the soil, to get down here to dry out. And we're talking everything. We're talking about Village Green. We're talking
Marquette
about
Mall office building.
We're talking about Ton and Blank, or no, the
Franciscan.
Franciscans
Yeah.
area. We're talking about that whole area is high ground with a perched water. We're even talking about everything up Piles Road. That's all perched water because you have a clay seam in there.
Well, but see, there's
So
a
you want your
difference.
pond down low.
There's the,
not
yeah,
up
but
high.
there's the West Side Moraine, where Jamar Ruby is located,
Yeah,
and it
Jamar
runs parallel to Franklin Street up to St. Stan's. That's the West Side Moraine. The water runs to the west. On the area on the south side of Jamar Ruby is the Trail Creek Moraine, where the water runs south into Trail Creek.
into the west branch of Trail Creek.
West branch of Trail Creek. It's simple hydraulic.
But once you get south of Jamar Ruby, the only development there is the Franciscan Hospital. That's pretty undeveloped area, and part of that is because it's a westland situation. I don't want to go that way. I want to go west.
I want to go west. That's where I want to go. And the sanitary district can make that happen, but they're sitting, shuffling their papers off to Buffalo and doing absolutely nothing since 2002 and 2003, and the years that I brought this, numerous times brought it up. I made a presentation to them that they have ignored. You know?
It's not unusual in Michigan City.
That's the point that I'm making. There's a whole series of issues that have constantly been ignored, and there's $450 million that we got in the last 4 years, and where in the hell did it go?
Yeah, you want to agree with Bob. We have made strides. Have we made $250 million worth of strides? No, not even close. We have done a great job in the downtown. We have kind of moved the north end.
Counting the South Shore situation with that
I'm not counting the
facility,
South Shore. That
and
thing.
with the Warren Building in today's time.
What about the $600 million that we invested in Fifth and Pine? What return did we get from that? Absolutely nothing, other than taxpayers, $6 million worth of taxpayers' funds.
Yeah, I ask all the time where in Michigan
Where'd it
City
go?
has gotten $250 million
Well,
from
I'm
Blue
about
Chip.
to start an even bigger fight, because right now it's my contention that with Blue Chip in the area over there, get ready, Tony, I think we need to move east. First of all, there's an old landfill that's holding things up. I think we
The
could
Harlow landfill?
Yes,
Yeah.
I think we could get a grant to get that fixed.
Yes, I agree.
Our residential systems are moving east toward New Buffalo.
I do agree. But they're doing it freely. We don't have to help them. They're already doing it.
Well, I'd like to help them at least get that damn landfill fixed. and we could get a grant to do that.
I'm not opposed to what you're saying, Bob. That's economic development,
That's the
man.
beach
I
area.
agree.
That's a freebie. That just happens.
You take the easy fruit first.
Well, that should already happen. It should have already happened in my
It should have happened in the last 70 years.
should have already happened.
Well, there was a lot of things. that-
Beach Walk took off. It was, I'm
Right.
not the fan, but it took off, and it could have keep going. They had some financial problems, but those people, it's been years now, those people bought that in bankruptcy. They've owned that land for a whole time, and I can tell you, at least one of the developers that bought some of that property, and not this administration, other administrations, was completely stymied, just overrun with nonsense. And so it just sits there now.
Yeah.
And-
I want to give credit where credit is due. Michael Bergeson. Michael Bergeson owned the old root beer stand property on Willard and Highway 212, or on Highway 12.
Yeah,
and
it was BK.
he is investing in that property, that corner lot adjacent to the skate park. He is investing into like a little bitty coffee shop or a restaurant or some economic development on the west side that, in my mind, he's paying for it out of his own pocket.
Well, did he go to the redevelopment, ask for a couple million?
Did he?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Probably don't think so.
I don't think so either. And so when you've got forward-thinking individuals in this community that sees the potential of the West Side, that's paying for the development of the West Side out of their own pockets, why doesn't that concept apply to the seated existing city council people to make West Side development happen? Why? Why?
Because we have to make sure there's no
I'm gonna
smoking
come
around the
back to
buildings.
this. When,
That's important.
Oh, yes, yeah. Smoke,
No, that's
smoke
really
within 20
When
feet
you-
of
that's what's
ashtrays. Yeah.
when you've got an easy one right off the top, take the freebie. You can do the
Yeah.
other stuff. That's moving us
You have to be
residentially
willing to
east.
take the freebie and not get in their way.
Well,
Let
I
them
agree
do
with
it.
that.
Let them
Yeah.
do it, right. Don't,
I mean, don't
Well,
put
it's
them
about time.
roadblocks.
It's
Don't-
about time people started
don't
saying
demean
that.
it. Yeah,
But
don't
the
demean
first
this
thing-
project.
The first thing you have to do is get that old landfill cleaned up. Now, whatever it takes to get that thing cleaned up.
Well, again, this side on Willard Ave, that property's already cleaned up. It has beautiful trees on it. It is vacant. It's ready for development. Why would you
Why
be
are you
opposed?
putting one against the other? Let's do both. We can go east. but
Because
we
you
can
got
go-
private money developing the west side, and you want the people on the east side, they're looking for a handout. That's why.
Yeah.
And that handout is coming through tax abatement. And that tax abatement there are more important things like fixing curbs and gutters, paving roads.
What about the school?
Yeah, well, the school is being,
Redhead stepchild. They ain't getting nothing.
Think in terms of the west side development is going to be in conjunction far north with the Indiana Dunes State Park.
Oh, yeah, that's a given. That's coming.
That you come south from there.
Yes.
That's where we need the industrial development. You go east, that's where we need the residential
Oh, yeah.
development.
And that should happen.
Yeah.
Just get out of the way. It will happen.
Yeah.
compare the development on the west side of town versus the development on the east side of town. And which side of town looks better? Definitely not the west side of town. All of the economic development is put into the east side of town.
It is.
Where you're
Yeah.
talking about, the riverboat and so on.
But it
and
shouldn't
houses.
have to, because it already grows.
That is
The
specifically
riverboat gives us a lot of tax.
but that is a form of spot zoning, and they're taking, the city of Michigan City is taking all its economic development effort and putting it to the east side of Michigan City and ignoring this.
It hasn't put much money on the east side at all. What money has it put on the east side? That's all been private development.
Sanitary
the
district,
riverboat is
sanitary
private
district is
development.
putting, they
Shrine
built a
Road.
new lift station, and then they need a new lift
Tryon
station.
Road, they built all
Tryon-
that infrastructure.
Okay, they did put.
Yeah, get out and drive around a while, Bob, and see.
For over 60 years, we've been talking about water and sewers in the sixth
And
ward.
that's sad, isn't it?
Yeah,
60 years.
Finally got
And
there.
we got $250 million and we still can't get it done.
Well, that just needs to be fixed. But fixing it will give us an easy development going east.
Oh, it'll naturally happen.
Yeah.
If you develop the west side of town, it will,
And that
build
should
it and
happen.
they will come.
But start with the Indiana Dunes State Park. Let's talk about what the prison leaves there. What are we going to put in there?
Yeah, prison's not going to leave because the state of Indiana doesn't have enough hospital beds for the inmates that they have, even though they're building a new facility in Westville.
Well, let's build another facility in southern Indiana. There's people down there could use the work.
Anyway, hey, I'm glad I'm back. Because rather than yelling at the TV set in
You
my
don't got
lazy
much time
boy,
left, so you only got to
Well,
say 10
Tom,
minutes.
yeah.
Everybody gets to
Hey,
their
finish
I'm
up,
going to
man.
talk about something that's about to occur on an international level that is probably the most significant international development since the end of the war in Vietnam. And that is that President Trump has put Iran into a very difficult military position. Now, everybody needs a little luck in life. He got a lot of luck in life when Iran started shooting at all of its neighbors and its Arab neighbors. Sometimes you count on the enemy, and it worked. As a result of that, he is asking Iran for unconditional surrender. What is he really after? Number one, let's look at his objectives when he started out this situation. First was, number one, to end any possibility that Iran would have a nuclear weapon. From that, it became any nuclear situation whatsoever, so they couldn't develop a nuclear weapon. Number two, he was very concerned about their missiles and their drones, especially the potential development of ICBMs, which first of all would have hit a lot of Europe, and in further development could have hit the United States. He has drastically reduced their development of missiles and of drones, and that is not only a positive for us, it's a big positive for what's going on in the Ukraine, because Iran was supplying Russia with a lot of those drones and some of those missiles. That has ended. Russia will have to come up with a way of replacing that, or they're going to be a significant disadvantage to where they were before. The last thing he did was totally eradicate the Iranian Navy, which allows us to open up the Straits of Hormuz and allow a lot of oil to come through that area, go out into the Arabian Sea, and then into the Indian Ocean. From there, it can, I'll just use civilian terms, turn and go north through the Suez Canal, or go south and come around India and toward China. Fantastic what has been accomplished. He needs to be able to keep it up. Now, when they talk about boots on the ground, I don't think you're going to see boots on the ground. What I do think you're going to see is what, up until about 10 years ago, was the largest minority in terms of numbers of people in the world that did not have a homeland. They now have a homeland. They are Kurds. They are spread throughout Turkey, which they cause all kinds of problems in Turkey. In Turkey, I'm sure will be glad to pay their way into Kurdistan. They cause all problems in other places, Syria and Iran. And what's going to happen, I think, is that the Kurds will want to expand their homeland, which right now is in northern Iraq, into northern Iran. And they have the majority of people in parts of that northern Iran situation. But they have a fantastic army. Now, they don't have a navy. They have a very, very small air force. But their army, if you can, is called the Peshmergas. If I could know Farsi, I would know what Peshmerga meant, but I don't speak Farsi. So as a result of that, I'm not quite sure what it means. But to me, it means a really solid, well-organized, well-equipped, and well-trained military. Their army is very, very good. The question is going to become, do we use the Iranian Kurds to fight off the Iranian army, or do we use a combination of the Iranian Kurds and the Iraqi Kurds to do that? I think if we do, they will be very successful in northern Iran. Plus, they will pull back and allow us more access by air to knock out more of the facilities that the Iranians are currently using. But I just wanted to say, to me, this is a huge, major factor in international affairs and will ultimately, many years from now, be a real positive.
It's going to be so. One part of war is to see how strong your enemy really is. Like when we got attacked at Pearl Harbor, they famously said, "I think we've wakened the sleeping giant." Now we went in
That was
Iran.
Yamamoto, by the way.
Yeah, so we went into Iran. We bombed them. We see how powerful they weren't. they were just lobbing missiles at their neighbors and whoever, and there's not much there. And like you say about Russia, if they don't have friends in China and Iran, how powerful are they really? And is that Ukraine war now a 50-50 chance? And Trump is working so many angles here that I have a hard time keeping up. I mean, he attacks Iran, he wipes out all their missiles. They don't have any missiles to use and hit people with or destroy or cause terrorist activities. They don't have nuclear capabilities, taking all that away from them. And in the midst of taking that away, oil's going to go up, so the Fed's going to be required to lower interest rates, which helps our economy. Brazil's getting hurt because they get their fertilizer from Iran, and they sell their corn and beans to Iran, which they can't do anymore. China's in trouble because they get liquefied natural gas.
China gets their oil from Russia.
And oil from Russia and Iran, and they're stuck. The Kurds have the ability now to take over and do what they should do and take their country. And Russia, Ukraine now is on the sidestep because Russia doesn't have as much help as they did anymore. And you find out what their capabilities really are of all these people: Russia, China, Iran, Ukraine. You find out what they really can accomplish because the United States just put a beat down on everybody.
Yeah.
And then we spend a bunch of missiles, so we're going to build more missiles, which our defense pays for.
Well, we definitely put a beat down on them. But on the other hand, they made some significant mistakes. And so far through his system, Trump has not made those kinds of mistakes. He's avoided them.
Luckily.
I think he's getting very good advice from several sources. But he has not made those kinds of mistakes. They did. And right now, their communication situation is pretty horrible. They can't even find a new Ayatollah because they're afraid that either the Israelis or
just put Cuba in the mix because they don't know what to do.
Oh, I think they're going to come with us real quick.
I mean, everybody is now ready to make a deal because we just saw there's no red line and there's no talk and there's no negotiation, no more diplomacy. He just went in and blew them up.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't see how it's actually going to get fixed. I don't think the Kurds will ever be strong enough to do what they needed to do for the last 200 years. And somehow the people in Iran let these Ayatollahs come in, and I've seen it since the 70s. And I agree that they should not be around anymore, but it just creates a big hole. Just like Venezuela, you just create a hole inside the gangs and a new gang member pops up.
I disagree there a little bit because I do think there will be in Iran. The Kurds only want the northern part, which is where their people live.
Okay, now the issue that these guys are talking about, again, I can relate to it to a certain extent, but I have to bring it back down to the city of Michigan City. Michigan City Redevelopment Commission is spending almost $600,000 a month on bills. No transparency whatsoever. Sheila Brilson is the president. Denzel Wilson's daughter is the vice president. Phil Latchford is the secretary-treasurer. And you go to Google, and there's no documentation as to where this $600,000 a month is going. Don't you think it should be an issue that somebody should ask, where is this money going?
They're spending $7.2 million a year.
That is correct.
Well, if I were you, I'd get a hold of the treasurer and ask when the last financial statements were published. And see
that information is to be posted on a daily basis, on a monthly basis on Gateway, and there's absolutely no posting of the revenue derived from the TIF district in a north end or south end or east side or west side of Michigan City on Gateway. It doesn't exist.
Putting those statements on Gateway and actually developing the statements may be two different entities. If they develop the financial statements, you may be right, they should be posted, but I'm not sure that it's the
Mr. York has over for the last 20 years, other than these last 2 or 3 years, Mr. York has failed to accomplish state law in that matter as far as posting on Gateway.
Is he responsible? Do we know who is responsible?
The Secretary Treasurer of the Redevelopment Commission, in my mind, is the city controller.
That's your mind. What does the law say?
It's a city controller.
City controller.
The city controller has responsibility to do it, and nothing is done.
All right. Well,
compare LaPorte to Michigan City. Compare it. Look under Gateway and see if you can see.
Who is our city controller?
I don't know.
Well, that's part of the problem.
I don't remember her name.
I don't know. I don't know.
And if you ask, you would be required to fill out a FOIA request.
Well, and then it has to be approved before you can get in. Yeah, I went through that mishmash. All right. How much time we got left, Tony?
Looks like about 5 or 6 minutes.
5 or 6 minutes. Hey, the Biela family has a claim to fame. Okay, in 2026, my dad is believed to be the youngest liquor law violator in the state of Indiana. My daughter did additional research.
When he finally got my grandfather off the list.
When my dad was 9 years old.
God, congratulations! Thank you.
When my dad was 9 years old.
Pass the baton.
Yeah, but how old was your granddad? My dad was 9 years old when it happened.
Well, my granddad was making illegal alcohol from the time he was 12.
Yeah. Well, anyway, he found 2 jars of moonshine. He drank them, and his stomach got pumped. And but yet he made the whatever the newspaper was, the Michigan City newspaper. So right.
Thank you for getting my grandfather off the list.
According to right now, my dad, who's passed away a long time ago, was the youngest individual in the state of Indiana to be picked up for public intoxication.
So we only got, now he says we got 8 minutes, so we got a little bit of time.
Oh, 8 minutes?
The thing I dug up
Well,
today.
okay, let's get Dave going again.
Uh-uh.
The big subject about college athletics and how much we're going to spend. and
Well, we
how
got to
we're-
honor Lou Holtz.
Yes, I agree. That
What a
we do
good,
that first.
wow, what a coach, what a guy.
Yes, I agree.
I don't care what you know about him, that guy was amazing.
Yeah, it's too bad.
I'm not even a Notre Dame fan, that guy was amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I want to give Mayor Dermody kudos, beyond kudos, for what he's doing over the last 4 years as far as economic development is concerned in the city of LaPorte. Really, you got to give that guy credit.
Yeah.
You don't quit.
Really.
He's a businessman.
That's right.
That's what he
He
does.
understands the logic of cause and effect that other people, when this concept is brought to them, goes on deaf ears, deaf, dumb, and blind ears.
All right, go to
Well,
sports.
President Trump has called together a number of people who are heavily involved with college athletics.
Well, he's another businessman.
Nick Saban, the chancellor of one of the academic situations. Who else is? He's got he's got Nick Saban. He's got the former coach of Ohio State, and he's got a couple of others in there looking at this situation in terms of the amount of money that individuals are making, and there's about 6 quarterbacks. Not Mendoza. He was not one of those that was singled out.
No.
But they're looking at the situation as to how much money these people are making. And as a result of that, maybe they'll come up with something. But I'm for one of those that says they cannot interfere with their rights to their own body situation. So if somebody takes their picture, if they want money for it, I think they've got a right to have it, unless they signed a prior contract. If somebody uses their abilities, they've got a right, I think, to be paid for it. And I hope that they will keep the situation going where these people will have the right to move from school to school at least once or twice during their careers.
And on that concept, Bob, who hired Signetti, the coach of IU, if not a Michigan City resident who saw the light and got the hell out of town?
Well, yeah, because we
Really?
didn't have a college that would fit his abilities.
I mean, college sports, and I agree that they're looking into this, and I agree, name, image, and likeness, you have the right to that. But I think if you're going to be a collegiate sports, you have to go to school. And I'm not talking 1 credit out. I'm thinking 6 or 8 credits. You got to be a full-time student. There's none of this, we just go to ballroom dancing, graduate school, and we stay here 6 years and they still call it collegiate sports. That is completely decimated college sport. And we're going to see, I think in the next 3 to 5 years, you're going to see them pay the price for paying quarterbacks $5 million for college sports.
Trump is going to straighten it out. He's going to straighten out college athletics and then bring it back to a normal procedure.
Because we know what happens after this. It goes down to high school athletics. And then it goes to junior high athletics.
Some of it's already there.
And you start paying these kids and their parents millions of dollars. And I agree, you have your own name, image, but and you deserve the right to make that money if you're really a student. if you're not a student and you're just playing one, so you can play at a pro level funding mechanism, that's ruins the sports.
But don't we have child labor laws that, you know, you can't really work for a buck until you're over 18 years of age?
Oh, don't get me started on that.
You have Hollywood.
Well, that's
Hollywood
true.
has young
That's
actors,
true too.
name, image, likeness.
Yeah.
You have.
We have taken away a lot of the rights that kids had when I was growing up.
No, you ain't kidding. Now you can't work after 15 and a half and it's limited hours. I mean, I wanted to work when I was 10.
Yeah, well,
I wanted to make money.
Yeah, I did too. And unfortunately, that sets everybody behind in learning how to handle money. I learned because that was money I earned, and I had to make decisions about what I was going to do with
That
it.
was money in your pocket.
Yes.
You were responsible for that money. Good or bad?
I think it's been very unfair what they've done to kids
I agree,
in
100%.
this day and age.
The more administrative, nonsense of holding people back just for the sake of security. And we keep doing that. You're going to keep layering in administrative on top of administration. And all you're going to do is stifle development or stifle somebody's growth. They don't know. They don't learn about money at 8 or 10 years old. They don't get to learn about money until they're 16 or 17. And
Well,
they don't have a good
sometimes-
work ethic.
Sometimes at that age, they really have gotten so far behind that they don't understand exactly what's happening to
Yeah,
them.
it takes you 10 years to catch up. We could
Yeah.
have started at 8
Yeah.
instead of 16. And this whole sports, again, I agree with name, image, likeness, but you got to be a student. You can't be 1 credit hour grad student who's making $5 million a year playing sports, never showing up for class. That's not right. That will destroy collegiate sports, and it's already done it. In my opinion, it's already destroyed.
You are going to have to make a decision as what are the full-time requirements for an undergraduate and what are the full-time requirements for a graduate.
That decision's already made. When you go to college and you sign up for whatever tuition,
Well,
you're declared full time with so many credit hours. That's it.
4 credit or four classes, 3 credit hours each, 12 credit hours generally is the requirement for an undergraduate.
For a full time tuition payment person.
Graduate students, depending on the situations they're in, can have different
We
requirements.
shouldn't have
but-
grad students
but at
playing college
least-
ball.
But
Sorry.
at least 3 hours.
This is underclassmen only. You're not allowed to be a grad student and play college ball. Sorry. Go to pro. Make another league. I don't care. It's not college ball anymore. These are not the same people. These are not 26-year-olds playing college ball. It's not.
Well, you can have
They're people that couldn't be pros and they're still playing college ball.
26-year-olds that came back from the military then as an undergraduate can play, so.
Yeah, if they're an undergrad, yes.
Yeah.
If you're an undergrad, yes, you can. We got 1 minute. Gotta
1
wrap it
minute.
up.
Well, okay, wrapping it up, Governor Braun signed in his House Bill 2000, signed a ban on public camping, sleeping, and other key laws addressed to data privacy, school, cell phone corporation bans, etc. In other words, you cannot, according to this law under House Bill 2000, you can't sleep on public land. That, in my mind, gives the police the authority that when they see a vagrant sleeping on a city bench in the city of Michigan City, that gives him the authority to tell that guy to leave.
Because it's a Supreme Court rule. You gotta be quick.
Yeah.
Got 30 seconds.
Okay. I want to thank everybody for watching. Your input as to improvements or criticism of this show is greatly appreciated. Please contact show's co-producers Bob Pollock, Dave Vila, or Tony Hendricks with your comments. You can email Bob at skrpollock@gmail.com, Dave at djvila1@hotmail.com, or Tony at emailagm@yahoo.com, or you may direct your ideas for any future shows to our one and only staff writer who just woke up, Sarah Bellum. Showing of our program will be Saturday morning at 10 a.m., also Monday and Thursday evening at 7 p.m., and numerous times on channel 99 as well as channel 1125. There's a couple other channels that you can see us. Also, you can see our program Navigate News and Views on YouTube. I want to thank everybody for watching, and I've been waiting 2 months to say this. Make it a good day.